What's up, everybody? It's Monday morning, 8 a.m., 30 degrees Celsius here in Toronto, Canada. We got a service call to attend to this morning. One of our customers called late Friday afternoon and said they had no air conditioning on the first and second floor of a real estate office. Agents are refusing to come in. It's chaos there. I'm gonna give you guys a full walkthrough of how I'm gonna troubleshoot this system and how we're gonna resolve the issue. So stay tuned, and hopefully you guys learned something today. Here's our main floor thermostat. We're 6.5 degrees above set point, cools on, and our fan is on. And here we have our second floor thermostat. We're 3.5 degrees above set point. Same thing, cools on, fans on. Let's go check these rooftops out. All right, we just got up to the roof. We got 2 units up here. This one's been replaced since the last time I was here, which is about 4 or 5 years ago. Used to have an old York rooftop. I think they had a cracked heat exchanger, that's why they changed it, but this unit here appears to be running. We're pulling a ton of heat out here, which is a good sign. Side discharge unit. The ductwork isn't that pretty, but hey, if it works, it works. There's our date on it. So it was changed just under a year ago. Our condensate trap. Looks like there's condensation coming out, so it's pulling humidity out of the space, which is good. Let's check out our bigger rooftop, which I'm assuming is for the ground floor. We have no action on this York, no fans. Doesn't even sound like the belt, or not the belt, the motor's running, but let's start with this one here, because it should be calling for air conditioning and we have nothing. All right, first things first, we're gonna open up our electrical panel. Let's see if we have any error codes on this unit. Okay, so the cool thing about these Yorks here, it actually gives you a digital readout. So right now we have fan only. We know our thermostat's set to air conditioning downstairs. We have C2 locked out due to coil freeze. Okay, so our freeze stat is giving us issues, and C1 locked out due to coil freeze, I'm assuming. Okay, so immediately my first thoughts are either airflow, charge, something along those lines. So let's keep looking. Let's take a look at our filter door. Filters aren't too bad. There's a date on them. It looks like they were changed January, February, March, April 16, 2025. So I don't think it's an issue with our filters. They're still fairly healthy. Let's check our belt door next. We got an A54 in here. It's written here with marker. Oh my God. What the hell is this? Okay. This blower motor here, at one point in time, sat on that bracket. I honestly can't say I've ever seen a blower break off that steel mounting before. That is insane. Let's shut this power off and investigate a little bit here. This motor's piping hot to the touch. Got to do this quick. Hot, hot, hot. I want to show you guys the back end of this. Holy smokes, that motor's hot. See if we can get a little more slack here. All right. Nice. Ow, ow, fuck. Okay, look at that. Let me get something to touch this with. This here, let me see if I can flip it once more for you guys. There we go. This here has taken a major hit. The cooling fan inside the motor almost was grinding up against that housing plate, but it's just free. And here is where, once upon a time, that welded bracket was holding this motor in the place. That is insane. I've seen rooftops with belt tensions that are just ridiculously over tightened, and I've never seen this in my life. I have no idea how this happened. These welds to fail and just rip right out. And the even funnier thing is, it didn't damage any of the wires. This is unbelievable. This motor dropped. It could have pinched all our high limit wires here. It could have tore this right out, which is our main power, blew our breaker downstairs, caused all kinds of issues, but it didn't. Here's our belt. I mean, our belt looks fairly new. Unbelievable. There's a little bit of damage. Oh, well, there's quite a bit of damage here, but see, I don't know if this is a pulley issue, but this pulley doesn't even look bad. Usually you can check these pulleys with their grooves. So you see how these grooves here still look fairly healthy on them, and it looks like this pulley is pretty new. Unreal. Blower pulley issues maybe. Bearings, they can be a problem too, but no. Those bearings actually look like they're in good shape. There's no play on that. It's running smooth. Our blower wheel isn't grinding against anything. Wow. What a shame, because that motor there is still in perfectly good running shape. Well, minus the bracket, but they're gonna have to change this entire blower motor. And we might as well get a pulley while we're at it too, with the new belt. All right, before we go replacing that motor, we're gonna throw our gauges on and make sure we still have pressure in first and second stage, because I'd hate to promise them everything's gonna be resolved when it won't be. So yeah, there we go. That's circuit number 1. We have pressure in there. And you know what? We might as well even bump these on. Let's turn the unit on and I'll bump the contactor quickly and make sure our compressors work. Disconnect. Okay. C1, I believe is this one. So there's our gauge pulling down. So we know compressor 1's probably okay. Now, let's check compressor number 2. Let's get to our access fitting here. Okay, we have pressure in there. Let's bump this one quickly. Compressor's pulling down, okay. Both compressors appear to be fine. Let's pull this off. Throw our caps back on. And we'll also check the contactors now. All right, power's off to the unit. We're gonna check our blower contactor, most importantly. So these contactors here, these 3-pole, have 2 little Phillips screws with covers. Those look good. Check our compressor contactors as well. Oop. Those look okay. And we'll check our last one here. Those also look okay. So this is something you guys should do if you're ever doing maintenance or you have a breakdown, but you see how those in here, where these energize, they look nice and shiny. That's what you're gonna wanna see on your contactors. You got any burn ups, burn marks, carbon tracking, you're gonna wanna replace those. It'll save the loads they provide. All right, before we go talk to the customer about replacing this blower motor, let's check the unit here, the brand new one, that visually appears to be running fine. I just think that it's trying to compensate for the other rooftop being down, and that one's probably twice the size of this, so it can't do so. But let's check our filters. Yep, they were changed on the same date, April 16th. They don't look too bad. I feel this door being drawn on, which is a good indicator that our blower is working properly, because we're on the negative side of the unit here. So we'll throw this back, and next we'll check our cooling levels. Look what just happened on my suction side, low side gauge. Never seen this happen before. So that's not going to hold on very well now, is it? All right, well, I guess we're buying a new set of hoses at the supplier. Let's check our running pressures. By the way, you're wondering why my low side is now yellow. I had to switch my hoses because of the failure I just showed you. Does it matter what color your hose is? Absolutely not, but we're loaded. Fully loaded up. This is 410, guys. We're using the pink scale. We're running almost at a 50-degree evaporator coil. This unit is working to full capacity, and it's doing all it can. Let's check our head pressure quick. She's up there, 400, a little bit high, but I also have this panel door off right now, so we're sort of bypassing the coil. But yeah, this unit's doing everything it can to try and compensate for the other bigger one down. Okay, so now that we know this unit's running fine, we're gonna run over to the supplier and see if we can pick up that motor. Well, first we gotta clear it with the customer, but stay tuned. All right, y'all, good news. We got the okay from the customer. Let's go inside and pick up this new motor. Okay. Let's try not to knock this ladder over. Whew. New motor required. First off, we're going to remove the wires, our 3-phase power from our old rooftop, or our old blower motor here. So what do we got here? L1, L2, L3. Now, generally speaking, guys, I should have taken a picture of this first so I know which wire goes where, because with 3-phase motors, if you hook them up in reverse, there's a good chance you could have it running backwards. But we'll verify that after, and I'll walk you through that. Now let's take off our old defective bracket. And of course, some manufacturers will put a spot weld on the back of the bolt. Of course, York didn't do it for us, so we're gonna have to gain access to this a little bit better. I'm gonna show you guys how to pull out the slide on these. With this particular model of rooftop here made by York, they have a couple 5/16 screws here, and of course this one's stripped. Nothing ever wants to work out. Okay, we're gonna have to get it from underneath here in the burner door. Where's that screw? Right here. We're gonna push up on it with the back end of our screwdriver. Come on, bro. There we go. So we'll be sure to put a different screw in after. Now that we have those screws removed, let's close this panel back up. Man. Okay. And we're gonna give this slide a pull. Nice. That just gives us a little bit easier access to our bracket. So these were the bolts I was talking about. Some manufacturers will actually put spot welds on these so you don't have to put a back wrench on them and go through all that hassle of pulling out this slide, but realistically, here's a reference. That's not too bad. My hands can get in here. So now let's take these off. All right, let's take a look at this. There's our broken bracket. Snapped clean off. All our spot welds went. Let's quickly take a look at this. So there was our bracket. Here's our motor. At one point in time, she sat on there just like that. And like I said before, I've never seen that happen before. How many welds do they have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 welds, and this thing just ripped clean off. This is the hardest part about changing one of these motors by yourself. Like this one here is maybe, I don't know, 40 pounds, 35, 40. It's just a guess, but when these aren't spot welded on, it's not easy to hold this in the air on your own. So I'm going to use the weight from my waist here. There we go, working out so far. And once you get one on, you're generally okay to get the rest. Would you look at that? Success on the first. Oh! Okay, no success, I lied. So just watch your hands here, guys. I've broken fingernails off doing this, cut my hands open pretty bad before. Come on, you guys can join me along for the struggle of changing blower motors on your own. Stay in there. Come on. Okay, now we got it. There's one in place. Let's put the rest in. Okay guys, rookie fucking mistake again. I neglected to look at where the old bolts went. And you got to keep in mind, this is an aftermarket motor, so this bracket has the additional 4 or 6 rounded holes there, whereas the OEM one did not. So I neglected to look there. Check where everything goes before you actually put it back into place. We're gonna have to start this whole process over again. Now that we've put these bolts in the correct placement for this motor frame, we're gonna tighten these up. Now what we're going to do is we're going to match our pulley opening to our old pulley. So that looks pretty good. These are adjustable motor pulleys, so the more that you loosen it, the wider it will get. And when you tighten it up, it will close it off. So that will just depend on how far or deep your belt would sit inside there. So that looks a little bit much. We're gonna try it right around there. That seems to be pretty close. Now you'll need your machine key. This came with this brand new motor. If it doesn't, you can buy an assorted pack. You can buy a stick of it in fixed sizes, which come in like 2 or 3 feet. In this case, we have one. And then you'll take your pulley. So we have our belt adjustment side. The looser you make it, the deeper the belt will ride, which will actually lower your amp draw. If you tighten it up, the higher your belt will ride, which will increase your amp draw. Anyways, this pulley has a groove in it here, and that just should slide onto this new motor shaft like butter. Beautiful. But before we tighten this up, we're gonna have to align this motor pulley with the blower pulley. You're gonna need a straight edge. So what I have is a piece of steel here, and what we're looking for is 4-point contact. So what I mean by that is pulley contact here, here. So that's gonna be our reference point. And we know now that this is not lining up into that pulley. So we're gonna have to adjust this pulley, push it back on the shaft a little bit until we get our 4-point contact. Just pushed our pulley back a little bit, and 1, 2, 3. So we don't have 4 yet. Let's push it back just a hair more. And there we go, guys. That's 4-point contact. We got contact here, here, there, and behind. So that's how we know we have a straight line. Now that we know we're in line for our belt, we can tighten up our set screw that will fix the pulley to the shaft. Okay, what I like to do is tighten it down, break it, and then retighten it so that set screw can really dig into this machine key and set our pulley to the shaft permanently. And we'll tighten up our belt tensioning here. Same thing again, break and retighten. Now we're ready to throw our belt on. So in my prior videos, I always told you guys, you go from the smaller pulley, generally speaking the motor pulley, to the blower pulley. You put it over top. Remember, hands are free and clear of this, which is where our belt would ride. So I like to grab the spokes here of the pulley to get some leverage with my hand flush over the top. And then I'll use my backhand here as more leverage. So we'll turn it and boom. That belt tension looks perfect. We've got our motor plate electrical cover removed. Now our aftermarket motor doesn't have spade connectors or terminals like our old one did. That's fine. We'll just use Moretz here. So these 3 lines here, L1, L2, L3, will go into L1, L2, L3 on the motor. Pretty straightforward. I did mention earlier about rotation problems. We might encounter that. I certainly hope we do so we can demonstrate it. If we don't, I will simulate that problem and show you guys how to resolve it. But we're gonna tape these up now, close this cover, and we're gonna push our slide back in. That's what it'll look like when the blower's back in place. Our slide's back. We put our 2 screws back to remove our slide. The only thing we have to put back are our high limit wires here, which we pulled off just while we were working on the motor. We've re-secured our power wires here for our motor into this factory little clip York has provided. It's just so they don't get sucked in. We're gonna close this panel up, turn the unit on, and we'll test it out. Okay, so our blower contactor just energized. Compressor 1 and compressor 2 are still de-energized. There's a startup delay on the board. First things first, let's go and check rotation. So the easiest way I find is knowing this door here, which is our blower door, is on the negative side of the unit. We should have suction on this panel, which it feels like we do. You can hear the airflow. Sorry, I'm just bringing my microphone close, but. So there's a good chance this blower is going the correct way. Watch how hard this door slams. Perfect. We're gonna check our amperage on our motor now. We're gonna use this clamp meter. I find this the easiest way to check amperage. We're gonna check our load side of our contactor. So not our line voltage in from this terminal block, but the outlet side. When this is energized through a call for the fan on the thermostat, contactor pulls in, allows voltage through each leg via driving our motor. So we're gonna check all leads. So we'll check our black lead first, which we have, let me try and show you guys, 3.6, 3.5. We have 3 amps, and our yellow lead has 3 amps as well. So we were running about a 3.5. We're gonna compare the readings we just got from our meter to the rating plate of our motor. All right, so let's check our motor rating plate. And I've actually pulled out the slide again just so you guys can get a clear image of this sticker here. So we're looking at 3.7 amps. And we were running at 3.5 on our highest leg, which is a good sign. We're within our range. And just to be more clear on airflow, if you guys are new and you're not that comfortable with the positive and negative side of the unit yet, you can also use these squirrel cage or blower wheel vane curves here. So I'm trying to get a good shot. Can you see how it's curved this way, not this way? So our correct rotation would be this way, because we're going to want to scoop the air. So that's another way you guys can double check if your fan is going the correct way. Now, as I promised before, I'm going to put the motor in the wrong direction, and I'll show you how to do that and resolve it. All you're going to do is take any 2 of your leads. So in this case, we're going to use yellow and black because they're the easiest to get to. We don't need a screwdriver. They're just spades. And we're going to reverse them. So we're going to take our black to our yellow side, pop that on, and our yellow to our black, pop that on. And that will reverse a 3-phase motor's rotation. Okay, our blower just kicked back on. It's in reverse now. So there's 2 ways we can check this again. One is with the airflow, but I'm going to show you the amperage method first. I'm going to pull you guys back. So we're going to take those same 3 leads that we just read, and I'll show you the difference. We'll take our black lead, which was our highest lead. So look at that. We're only drawing 2.6 when we were drawing 3.5 amps before. This lead, I believe, was 3.1. We're drawing 2.3 amps. And our yellow lead, we're drawing 2.5 amps. And the reason this is happening is because the motor is not doing any work now. The curves are not in direction of the airflow, so it's not scooping anything, it's more pushing it. It's more aerodynamic now as opposed to being like a spoon. I'll also show you our suction method. So here's our panel. We're gonna let the panel go. Try and give it some assistance. You see that? It didn't slam shut like before. So now we are moving no air. We got our gauges set up here. This is on circuit number 2. We're running pretty well. 410A pink scale, 36, 37 degree evaporator coil, 110 PSI, head pressure just below 300, which is great. And I'll show you guys something funny. If you're wondering why I'm using a manifold yellow hose for my high side, despite I bought new gauges, hoses, this red hose, for some reason, brand new, never used before, will not let the pressure through to my gauges. I'll show you guys that right now. I've never seen that before from a brand new set of hoses. So check this out. This is our discharge line off compressor 1. We're not hooked up there right now. We're on compressor number 2. But if I was to thread this on here open, this would all shoot into the ambient. Watch. Fully tightened. Nothing. We're not registering any pressure through this hose. I have never seen brand new hoses do that before. Maybe the depressor on the inside is defective. I just looked at it. Everything looked okay, but that is just the weirdest thing. Brand new. We'll have to take these back. Now we'll hook up our gauges to circuit number 1. High side on, low side on, and we are loaded right up on our first stage. So you see the pressure difference between first and second stage. First stage is doing more work right now. It might be a bigger compressor, more capacity. It's running 135 PSI, which is like a 45-degree indoor coil. And our head pressure is 300 PSI, condenser temperature 96 degrees, give or take. So this unit here is working away. Everything's running well now. We just closed our unit up. We're gonna double check all our panel doors. Tight, 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 and tight. Condenser fan motors are both on and running. We're pulling quite a bit of heat from inside. Everything's cleaned up off the roof. And we're ready to go. So that was another successful day, guys. All our gear's packed up and ready to rope down. If you guys enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next one. Take care.